am excited to introduce Drawing is Thinking, a foundational drawing course that focuses on observational drawing skills. I call the course Drawing is Thinking because I truly believe that these foundational drawing skills help us to develop our critical observation and thinking skills in order to understand what is really going on in front of us. So who is this class for? First, this is not a fun, light-hearted kids art project type of course. This course is a more skill-focused class for people who have a longer attention span. It's for teens and adults who are serious about building their foundational drawing skills. Additionally, the people who would be interested in this course tend to fall into two categories. The first category is the people who, quote-unquote, can't even draw a stick figure. These people are the supposedly untalented, the people who just can't draw, don't know how to draw, and never will draw because they don't have the talent for it. Speaking of this idea of artistic talent, I would like to share this quote from you by Betty Edwards from her book, Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. She says, "The sense persists that drawing is a vaguely magical ability. This attitude of wonder at drawing skill does little to encourage individuals to try to learn to draw. Often, in fact, people hesitate to take a drawing class because they don't already know how to draw. That is like deciding you shouldn't take a Spanish class because you don't already speak the language." So if you're not naturally artistic and you don't already know how to draw, you're in the right place. This class is for you. The other category of people that can get a lot out of this class are the people who are talented but would like to build a stronger artistic foundation. These people are actually also held back by this idea of talent. Often these people have felt their way through drawing or art projects by instinct rather than actually studying the concepts of how it works. So what often happens is these people can draw, but they don't know what they're doing well enough to be able to explain to other people how they're doing it. This is very limiting because when you don't understand exactly what it is that you're doing, it can be very hard to improve and to focus on the aspects of the skill that you are having a hard time with. I myself would say that I fell into this second category, that I was talented and I learned how to draw through instinct, but I couldn't really articulate what it was that I was doing very well. And even though I was already good at drawing, when I focused on learning these skills well enough to be able to teach them to other people, my drawing skills grew by leaps and bounds because I knew what it was that I was doing. So what is this class going to look like? So a lot of the material is going to be delivered like this. It will be videos of me with slide presentations that have keywords and visual aids, etc. So what will these video presentations cover? So of course we're going to cover some basic artistic vocabulary that will be helpful in order to understand what I'm talking about. We will also dip our toes into a couple of art history topics that will be helpful to explain the things that we are trying to learn. And basically they're just going to help me cover whatever it is that we need to cover in order for me to help you to understand the concept that we're focusing on in that lecture. Also, as part of the class, we're going to have some discussions via the class exclusive Discord server. The discussions will be based on either questions that I share that I'd like people to answer and discuss, or videos to watch or articles to read. There won't be too many of these, it's just sometimes there are useful questions or articles to look at in order to better understand the concepts that we are trying to learn. Last but far from least, there will be exercises after each of these presentations and discussions in order to actually apply the concepts that we're learning in actual drawing practice. I will do my best through the presentations and the way I introduce the exercises to make it clear what you're supposed to do and why. And of course, beyond that, there is always practice. That is really the deciding factor of whether people are really going to wrap their brain around these concepts and develop them into actual drawing skill. And that's it for an introduction to the course. And just very briefly, I'd also like to introduce myself. My name is Sarah LuAnn Perkins, and I have an illustration degree, and I have a published picture book. I really like working in black and white, and so that is why I chose that as sort of the color scheme for the class presentations. As you can see, my own illustration style is a little bit more stylized. It's not fully realistic, but it does have a foundation in realism because I do understand how realistic drawing and painting works. In fact, I teach a still life painting class locally where I teach and practice doing fully realistic paintings. Because in my experience, staying in practice with these observational drawing and painting skills helps when you're drawing stylized artwork, even if it's not fully realistic. And that's it for a general introduction to drawing is thinking. In the next video, I'm going to give a little bit more detail of the kinds of things that you can expect to think and feel and see in the presentations later in the course. And then I will give the first drawing assignment that we need to do before we can dive into further instruction.